Hi, I'm Greg, and I'm a collector of 45 RPM records, like these guys here, mainly from the 60s and early 70s. And I do not make a lot of instructional videos. In fact, I don't think I've ever made one before. But I thought what I'd learned in the last few weeks was info that other people would really appreciate and could benefit from. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm filming this on my iPhone 16, which is a great phone with a great camera and a great microphone, but it's not quite what I needed for what I was doing. I've been making little videos of my records recently to put on Instagram, and for every occasionally I sell them, and I need to send somebody a video of it with some decent sound quality. And what I found was that the built-in microphone, obviously picks up ambient sound. So when my dog is in the other room barking, you would hear that, and you're hearing music come from the speaker, and then into the microphone, and it wasn't giving the greatest fidelity. Not that these old records have great fidelity to begin with, but I think you need to, especially if you're making a video to sell the record, you want the quality to be as good as possible. So I wanted to just take the sound from my either from the mixer or from the receiver directly into my phone. Now, in the olden days, back when I had an iPhone 4 in the Stone Age, the phone had a dedicated headphone slash microphone jack, which I was able to, just plug in, that little cable and get sound into the phone. Unfortunately, the latest iPhones don't have anything like that. They just have a USB-C port, and no other way to plug anything into the phone. So the first thing I did was I went to everybody's favorite online retailer, and I bought myself a cable that looks like this. So this was a 1/4 inch cable on 1/4 inch plug on one end and a USB-C on the other end. And I thought, oh, let me get one that's like 5 feet long or 6 feet long and plug it into either the headphone jack or the main output on the back of the mixer and plug it into my phone, and there we go. Well, that did not work. All I got out of that was a mute video, and I didn't really understand why. So I started Googling, and Googling led me to a couple of things. First, it led me to understand that in order to get sound into a video, you needed either a USB-C microphone or a USB-C interface of some kind, an audio interface. And I thought, well, microphone is kind of silly, although most of the videos I found the thing is, none of the videos I found had anything to do with recording music. They were all about, guitar players plugging in their electric guitar into their phone. So I thought, well, I can't really. A microphone's kind of pointless because that's just another. I've already got a microphone in the iPhone, which is fine. I didn't. It's still going to pick up ambient sound. My dog barks. You're still going to hear it on the recording. So I sort of discounted that idea. So then I just started looking at USB-C interfaces, and I discovered that the cheapest ones are about $99, and they're the ones that you can plug a 1/4 inch guitar cord into, and then get some output. Unfortunately, I wasn't really sure if that was what I needed, and I was kind of hesitant to spend $99 on something that may or may not work, or may or may not give me the sound I wanted. I didn't know if I was going to get like single channel sound or what. I just didn't know, because nobody had that set up online that I could see. So I looked at more expensive USB-C interfaces, and they were like $250, and they seemed like they were adaptable enough that I could, figure out the plugs and all that. And then I thought, the idea of that whole microphone thing kept coming back to me. If I can plug a microphone into the USB-C port without an interface, there's got to be some way to get that kind of signal into my phone without buying the interface. So I did some more Googling, and here's what I found out. So the typical, and I'll show you again with this 1/4-inch cable. So your typical 1/4-inch cable has these two black lines on it. And when you see that, that's called a TRS cable, for tip, ring, sleeve. And there's actually 3 conductors on that, a stereo conductor, or down a mixed mono conductor, okay? And the same applies for this little guy. This little guy, if I can get it focused there, as you can see, just 2. This is the 3.5 millimeter version of this. This is the typical sort of headphone jack that you might have put in somewhere for little headphones. Just the 2 rings. But here's the important thing. A microphone jack, ready for this, has 3 black rings. Can you see that? 3 black, it's kind of hard to focus here. 3 black rings, and that's called a TRRS. Note the extra R for tip, ring, ring, sleeve. So if I could somehow, and then I figured if I can get that, then I'll just get an adapter that goes from the microphone jack into a USB-C output, and I'll be hunky-dory. So that's what I did. So here's my setup. I've got RCA cables. That's an RCA cable coming out of my receiver, and they come down and convert to the TRS 2-ring connector on the end. And I've had this cable for years and years and years because I've used this to plug into my Tascam recorder. I have a little portable digital recorder that I take on DJ gigs to record sets and things. So I do that, and I'm just plugging that into, ready for this, a female end of this microphone cable. So boop, let's plug it in. Okay, and then this 3-ring TRRS microphone end gets plugged into, voila, the female end of my little USB-C adapter cable. Sorry, this is off camera. There we go. There we go. And that's it. And then this plugs right into the phone, and I can make a video. And let's see if I can do that. Of course, once I plug this in, you won't hear my voice, which you may appreciate. So here we go. Plug it in.